Art YouTuber LavenderTowne recently got into some hot water with the Hazbin Hotel fandom when she joined the long line of people who have attempted to redesign the characters and make them better. In today's video, we're going to discuss what happened, the backlash, and the general controversy of fixing Hazbin Hotel characters. Hi, my name is Lola Holiday and welcome to a new series on my channel called Cover Art, where I cover art community news and happenings. So let's get straight into the Hazbin Hotel art style drama because yes, the art style is somehow quite controversial. Is there anything about this show that isn't controversial? What it all boils down to is there seems to be quite a few people who dislike the Hazbin Hotel art style. The most common criticisms I've seen is that the characters are too similar to each other in terms of body shape. However, despite this, I'd still argue that each character does have a fairly unique silhouette. They're also considered to be too similar in colour scheme with each other and with the background, so they all blend in, making it difficult to establish what's actually going on in some scenes. This is combined with the noodly silhouettes, sometimes not standing out so well from the busy backgrounds. The reason for this, ironically, might actually be the show's success. Let me explain. The creator VivziePop didn't show animatics in full to the art team to avoid leaks because the show was so anticipated. An animatic is a rough visual preview of your animation, timed to the voice-over and to the music. But this really doesn't help the individual illustrators working on the backgrounds. They need to see the whole sequence to understand where the characters are and what they're doing in the room, like are they touching something, so that those illustrators can figure out how to best place and colour background elements in order to complement the scene. When different artists work on different parts of the scene without seeing the whole thing, things can end up looking a bit off and unbalanced. And it can also lead to inconsistencies with where objects are placed when you change shots. Finally, the most common accusation is saying the character designs are too busy and have too many elements. They're over-designed and overcomplicated. And there's just been loads of controversy, kind of like sparking over the years, of people trying to redesign or trying to quote-unquote fix the characters, and then they just receive immense backlash for it. For example, shortly after the initial pilot was released on YouTube, art YouTuber Meppity created a video titled Fixing Characters from Hazbin Hotel, which was renamed to Redesigning Characters from Hazbin Hotel because fixing others' arts is generally not taken very kindly to, as it implies your art is so much better. The video received a lot of backlash, mainly because of the original title and also because of her general tone in the video. If you watch it, you'll see what I mean, but there are some points where she is just kind of a little bit disrespectful to the original.
Unfortunately, all the decorations remind me of what many 12-year-olds OCs look like. You know, when there's like a bunch of quirky, oh so unique features scattered all over the characters.
But basically the main kind of issue that people took with it is she took a bunch of features off the characters to make their designs less busy, but people were arguing that those elements are actually important to the backstory of the characters and they show how they died, etc. But honestly, to be fair to her, I think a lot of Hazbin lore seems to come predominantly from outside the show. They don't tell you everything within the show. For example, people working on it throughout the years have revealed lore, and if you were following them closely, you'd know a lot that just a regular viewer wouldn't. And there's also been a Hazbin comic series where there's been a lot of stuff revealed, but not everyone's going to have read that. So anyway, Meppity remade the video and she apologised. In this video, she was very complimentary to the creator, VivziePop, and basically admitted that she threw the original video together quite quickly because the show was popular at the time, and I can absolutely understand that as a fellow art YouTuber because there is a pressure to be the first to hop onto new trends to grow your channel. Anyway, she created some new and more thoughtful designs instead, and all's well that ends well. Very recently, a similar thing happened actually again with the YouTuber LavenderTowne. She also tried to redesign the characters based on the common art criticisms, which I think was fine for her YouTube audience, including me, who at the time, I didn't know much about the show, and I don't think the rest of her audience did either. But once it got further and it reached Twitter, it was slated by the fans because damn, this fandom is serious. So she took down the video and apologized, and again it was a similar thing of taking off stuff that she didn't realize was important to the backstory of the characters. And Alistair was probably the worst offender because she made his color palette sepia and said she didn't get the point of his deer ears, and the fans, they just did not like that. She also changed around the colour schemes of the other characters as well to make them different from the usual white, black, red and yellow combo that they all have going on, and changed the backgrounds from red to purple in a section of the video to give an example of how the characters could be made to pop out more. Darkening the backgrounds to a darker shade of red to add contrast was no issue, but the colour changing was for some people. People ultimately argued that it didn't make sense to change the main motif of the backgrounds and characters from red to another colour because it's hell, and red just makes way more sense for the setting. To make matters a little bit worse, one of the parts of the video where she changes the characters' colour schemes, she's actually drawing over some fan art she found on an article, but the fan art was so good and accurate to the show that she thought that it was official promotional art. Her designs also seemed a little bit rushed compared to her other usual character stuff. To be absolutely fair to her, I have followed LavenderTowne for years and she is not problematic at all, neither is Meppity. They both usually make great art and put a lot of effort into their content. Both, I think, are just a case of struggling on this platform because growing a channel and remaining relevant is a difficult task. So when something gets as big as Hazbin Hotel, you don't want to miss out on the hype, so you have to make a video right now. But they're probably very busy, especially LavenderTowne, who puts out a video every single week. And like I mentioned earlier, you can watch the show, but that doesn't mean you know everything. It would actually require, I think, quite a large amount of outside research to really make sure that you fully understand all of the characters' personality and their backgrounds and backstory and all of the intended design features and how they relate to that. Again, to be fair to her, I think she was a lot more respectful in her video than the other one that I just mentioned. But with regards to the character Alistair, who's meant to be based off a deer, going into the show, I knew that the characters were meant to be based off animals, but I initially thought that he was meant to be an owl because of his fluffy, like, tufty ears. I thought they just resembled an owl's ears, and I thought it was meant to be kind of a reference to him being like a radio show host, because owls are birds that you're a lot more likely to hear their call than to ever see them. I don't think it's too serious, but like I say, people take this kind of thing very seriously within the fandom, I think. People just don't really appreciate when others try and fix the art when they don't even have the full research and context of why the characters are designed that way. Honestly, I'm just imagining, what if Colleen came out with a video that was like yassifying Hazbin characters? Can you imagine how that would go? That would be crazy. So to summarize, some people have criticisms about the show's art style, particularly about the characters being, in their opinions, too over-designed. The most common redesigns people do for this show are character designs to try and combat that exact perceived issue with the character designs being too busy. Both Meppity and, most recently, LavenderTowne are YouTubers who fell into the trap of trying to make a video discussing this and offering up their own solutions to the many criticisms online, but they did not research enough. This led to some rushed videos that caused backlash, and they're not the only ones. Ultimately, I think nobody deserves hate in this situation. Whether you're someone who likes the show's visuals or someone who agrees with the common criticisms, I don't think it's that deep, it's just a show. Some people seem to just get way too angry about this show, and I'm not really sure what it is about Hazbin Hotel that is sparking such vitriol online lately. But ultimately, what we can learn from this situation is the time-old tale of, if you're going to critique someone else's work, please be kind and constructive instead of a fixer. And in the case of these two creators, sometimes it's best to hold back if you don't have all the information. That might mean it takes significantly longer to produce the video, and YouTube is a rat race, but quality always beats out quantity. So thank you so much for watching. What do you guys think of the situation? Do you like the Hazbin art style? Do you agree with any of the criticisms? Why do you think Hazbin is so controversial? I mean, I haven't seen this much online discourse about a piece of media in a while. And thank you so much for watching the first ever episode of Cover Art. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to cover. And if you want to learn what happened when a group of AI art bros created a competition for whose model could best rip off Sam Does Art's art style, click here.